Hello everybody, this is your news report, second stimulus check update, and second stimulus package update. I hope everybody's having a great Thursday so far. Stimulus checks and stimulus payments, everybody, are still on the table. In fact, Congress is negotiating on it right now as we speak. CNBC reports that Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley unveils his plan for a second round of $1,200 stimulus checks. Now remember folks that a $908 billion bipartisan stimulus plan does not include any round of stimulus checks. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri on Thursday introduced legislation to provide a second round of stimulus checks to most Americans. Josh Hawley said, if the negotiators can't reach some sort of compromise, I will go to the floor next week and I'll ask for an up or down vote on that. Everybody tell me in the comments down below, do you approve of Senator Josh Hawley? And do you agree with him on that a second stimulus check of $1,200 is necessary? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you will never miss all the newest and most up-to-date reliable stimulus check information. And let's get this video to 5,000 likes if you think that Congress must pass more stimulus relief.
Meltdown. And there are economists who are telling us that the desperation of working families in this country today, right now, is worse than at any time since the Great Depression. In Vermont and all over this country, we have workers who have lost their jobs and their income, people who are by the millions behind in their rent and are afraid of being evicted, afraid of losing their homes, people who have lost their health insurance, unable to go to a doctor. In the midst of a terrible pandemic, they don't have health insurance, can't go to a doctor when they get sick.
And according to CNN, with 8 days to go until another spending deadline, the prospects of Congress agreeing to, writing, and voting on a massive stimulus proposal before Christmas are slim. According to CNN, a bipartisan group of negotiators is still stuck on how to craft liability protections. Republican leaders are signaling their conference can never support the state and local aid Democrats want. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer are still insisting the only way forward is to put their faith in a bipartisan proposal. There still is not a deal on an omnibus spending bill to fund the government, and there still is not a deal on a stimulus package to respond to the pandemic. Congress has already given itself a 1-week extension. If a deal is going to come together on stimulus, it needs to come together in principle by the end of the weekend. According to CNN, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has already signaled he would be willing to cut a deal right now. That includes school funding, another round of Paycheck Protection Program loans, extended unemployment insurance benefits, transportation funding, and an extension of the eviction moratorium. Those items are easy to draft onto a bill and don't take much time given they have broad bipartisan agreement. But if Democrats insist on state and local and have to negotiate on liability, a week would not be enough time at this point unless some serious concessions are made.
To get relief, not last. Their interests, their needs should be first on our to-do list, not last. Now, I've heard some of my colleagues say that there just isn't enough left for working families, that once we take care of our other priorities and COVID relief, there just isn't enough left to give direct assistance to individuals. I want to respectfully suggest that those priorities are exactly reversed. We should begin with the working people of this country. And that's why the legislation that Senator Sanders and I are introducing, which I believe every senator voted for in March. It's simple legislation, $1,200 for each individual, $2,400 for a couple, and $500 for every dependent in the family. It's exactly what this Congress approved overwhelmingly back in March. And it was indeed a lifeline. I know it was for Missourians in my state, for working families in my state. I remember in the hours and days after Congress passed this in March, fielding call after call after call from friends, from people I didn't know in my state but whom I represent, and called me to say, first of all, is it really true? Are we actually going to be getting this support? And then just to say, thank you. And I said, don't thank me. Thank you for being the ones who have built this country, the ones who sustain this country, the ones on whom this country depends. And I'll just say also, as a matter of fairness, if the United States government is going to shut down your business, if it's going to tell you to go home for health reasons, if it's going to give you no choice in the matter, I think that there is an obligation to support and help the people who are affected through no fault of their own. Let's be clear. The millions of Americans who are out of work because of this pandemic, they haven't done anything wrong. The 853,000 Americans who today, the new numbers tell us, filed for unemployment benefits, they're not at fault in this pandemic. We want to support and stand with working individuals and working families. I want the working people of Missouri to know that they are first on the priority list. And when it comes to COVID relief, we will not leave this town until we have voted, up or down, until we have voted on direct relief for working people in my state, in Senator Sanders' state, and in every state in this union. With that, thank you, Senator Sanders. I yield back.
Well, thank you very much, Senator. And let me just say this. In March, as Senator Holy indicated, we came together, and I had the same experience.
Speaker Pelosi said during her weekly press conference that she believes the bipartisan group of lawmakers engaged in negotiations over a stimulus relief bill are nearing a deal, according to CBS News. I think they've made great progress and I salute them for that, Pelosi said about the negotiators. However, the group has not yet published legislative text for the proposal. A 6-page summary for the framework, obtained by CBS News, does not include specifics on liability protection for companies and institutions. This framework is not a concrete bill, and lawmakers remain divided over the scale and scope of a relief package. Time is running out for Congress to pass any relief proposal, as it also must negotiate and approve an omnibus government funding bill. Although Pelosi had previously been unwilling to consider legislation below $2 trillion, she said there was now a completely changed dynamic. With the looming inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden and the development of a vaccine, Pelosi said she was now willing to consider a smaller package because of these two factors, adding that negotiations would continue next year. Pelosi said, "This is not a stimulus package. This is an emergency supplemental. I think the values and priorities they've established are what we need to do right away." Now, Mnuchin said on Twitter that he had spoken to Speaker Nancy Pelosi and made a $916 billion offer for a relief bill. But according to CBS News, Pelosi and Schumer said it must not be allowed to obstruct the bipartisan congressional talks that are underway. With that being said, folks, that's all the news in today's video. If you found this video useful, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you'll never miss all of the newest and most up-to-date, reliable stimulus check information. And let's get this video to 5,000 likes if you think that Congress must pass more stimulus relief. My message to our American government is to pass the stimulus. The good American people need stimulus checks.
First.